All right. So, what does Koji mean? K.O.J.I. Um, in short, it means King of John's Island. Um, long story how I got there. You see, coming up, my real name isn't that long, I guess. So I never really had a nickname coming up, or it could have been the fact that I wasn't in one place long enough for one to come about. Even though middle school, middle school was treacherous, man. Like for everybody, I suppose. In the form that like it was either in some cases it was trip or be tripped on, you know, especially in Maryland, PG County. Um, you had certain nicknames or things people would call you to trip. Like I've always, I know my situation. I got a big dome piece. I got a big head, man. So boy used to call me Calic Head, old Jonathan Sneed and all them boy. Like, but I mean that's just what that's probably my only real nickname that I've ever had. So when it came time to choose a stage name, an artist name, I, it felt it was harder than it probably is for a lot of other people who just transition their what they're called. Um, so I didn't have any. I think me and my cousin Darius, we and I don't know if I should be name dropping, but let's just say me and my cousin, um, we had plans. We were at the same school at one point in time, and we had plans on starting a group together. And I honestly can't remember what his name was, but I think mine was RNC, like DMC. Mine was RNC, and that's my mother's maiden initials. So there was some thought about it. It wasn't like I was trying to be like DMC or wasn't, but I mean it was it's a I don't know, I'm gonna just say it's phonetically aligned, so maybe it did play a part, but we never did any music together. Eh, I don't really know why. I kind of do know why, but it just never happened. And in my imagination, one day maybe we might record something together. I gotta get in contact with him. But anyway, back to the script. So RNC, like early on, before there was any motion, any real motion other than we gonna do this. That's how it's gonna be. It was RNC. Um, After that, when I really so it was intended to do the group thing, but then like I I kind of sensed it, and this is no slight to Darius because this was like selfish ambition in a way. I understood the pace that I would have to move if I was really gonna take this thing serious. So, you know, while in the school of Nas, like I came across an old record named Street Dreamers. It was a remix with R. Kelly in it. And the lyrics say something like "Street Dreamer." I'm not gonna sing it. It's too early. It's too early to even try. But it's basically saying ain't nothing out here for you. It's produced by Track Masters, and just the whole vibe of the song. Like that's one of the ones that I was riding to first, just for the vibe of it. And then it's later on that you realize that what they're saying, not only does it directly correlate for this moment, it was a perfect combo, beat, message, everything. So I took the name from the song and said that was going to be my first artist name, Street Dreamer. Over time, I think I put out one project. It was called Preliminary Hearing. And I had commissioned a DJ Solus. I don't even know how I came across him to host it. He did the artwork, he did everything. He did his thing. He really did. I should have kept up with Solus. I don't know, but that early in the game, I didn't have, I wasn't prepared to know how to keep relationships or look at the bigger picture in that moment, I guess. But it was something about that cover. It was called Preliminary Hearing, and there was something going on in my life at the time where that term was on the forefront of my mind. So I used that name, and Solus made a bad cover. It was good. The quality was there, but like it was like it had some goons in the background, and then like you got my face like it was taken from a picture that I sent him, and I wasn't even like the picture was like chilling with family and friends. So you can imagine how chill the demeanor is, and then you just put my head on top of the on top of this dude with a New York style Letterman on, like I'm just leading a pack of goons, which you know maybe I am, maybe, but it just didn't feel right. So I thought about the whole street dreamer thing, and why that applied to me was because again from the previous, and I'm sure you'll hear more about it going forward. I was a college athlete, and here I am embarking on a rap journey. So rap is synonymous with streets. So street dreaming ain't nothing out here for you. Maybe I should have listened a little bit deeper, but I just decided to drop the street because I guess somewhere inside I knew back then that I mean you don't have to. I didn't have to carry that. I didn't have to even bring that type of attention, that line of questioning or anything. So, and Dreamer was just easier to say, even though I didn't like it in full. Just saying Dreamer, Dreamer. It's almost like my own name. I don't know if y'all feel like that. I don't like saying my own real name for some reason. It's not that I don't like it. It's just I don't like saying it. Um, but yeah, so I shortened Street Dreamer to just Dreamer, and that's what I rode with for a long time. Actually, I can't remember at what timeline, so I'm gonna just go ahead and say this. I remember where I was. I was riding on the island. I was passing Granny House, and it just hit me. Okay, the name is complete. Like add the parentheses with the K.O.J.I, and that stood for Koji. So Dreamer Koji. It had a nice. It kind of balanced, Dreamer, like Dreamer Koji, and with the parentheses every time, it would like leave a thought in people's mind, like I wonder what that mean or whatever, like you know. Um, and Koji stood for King of John's Island. Now, growing up, I listened to a lot of uh, DJ Paul, Juicy J, like that whole wave. And I remember DJ Paul had a mixtape series called KOM, King of Memphis. So the KOM, dot. I remember he did something with the KOM, and I thought it was a bold declaration, but he stood by it, and I just liked the way it looked. And at the time, Big Crit was doing this thing. He was emerging, you know. I don't know if people remember, but what it felt like to me was, or from my perspective, at when Kendrick was bubbling, Cole was bubbling. I don't know if Big Sean was totally there. Wiz was in his own lane, and then you had Crit. Oh, you had Wale too. And it's funny, it seemed like Wale really had the biggest success first. But those were the game always give balance in characters when they put them out. So those were the guys, and I was more aligned with the Crit lane. I'm sorry, the Crit lane. So when I found out the Crit was King Remembered in Time, I guess it just inspired me to add on the K.O.J.I. And it just hit me like, I don't even think I was thinking about it that heavily. It was just something that hit me. So usually when that happens, like those clear moments, I do something with them, even if I don't completely like them. But remember, I a name wasn't something I put a lot. I did, but I didn't because I never had a nickname before. So yeah, I was inspired by DJ Paul and Big Crit, to be honest, with the Koji thing. But I don't know if y'all believe me or not, but even back then, I felt like I was like doing two things at once. So I was creating music and developing that skill in order to be able to tell my people what I sense was happening. Back then, it wasn't so much gentrification. It was like this side fighting that side fighting that side. And however petty it was, boys would be boys and all of that. But people were really few people lost their lives. Few people got locked up. But in my mind, it just felt like we needed to get it together. Like something else was like this was the product. And over time, I was absolutely right. I feel like us wasting time warring against each other and competing against each other when it wasn't gentrified, that was a time we should have been, you know, getting our land and all of that stuff about land and what like the togetherness would have radiated throughout the culture. Like we're not selling anything. We're like that close knitness that I felt that was missing. So honestly, I just felt like being an artist, I would have a greater chance at affecting that. So when you combine that intention with I feel like I'm gonna use the word of divine conviction. I really feel like that's what I am, and it's linked to again the divine conviction. It's linked to the concern and the intent, and a competitive streak that I'll put any aspect of kingship, any attribute that I may or may not have against anybody who wants to challenge it. You know how like on Black Panther, when I think his name is M'Baka, wanted to challenge for supremacy. Okay, if you want to challenge the king, meet me on the edge of the cliff. We'll see what's up. And we could do anything. We could play chess. We could spar. We could have a distance run. We like whatever. We could, we could go through it. But as time went on, I've never had anybody come up to me and be like, why you call yourself that? I don't even think most people really even, I don't want to say care, but like have even like thought to ask because, well, I don't know, maybe it is a wonder because it's been more than a handful of times. There are people who will just come to me and say, they'll either say, "Oh, I didn't know that's what that meant," or they'll ask me what it means, and I'll tell them. But when I'm asked directly what it means, lately I've just been saying kings with an S because I'm not in competition with my own, like, you know, and I refuse to engage in that. Like so my heart is more aligned with shining a light on all of us. And even if I didn't have the words to say it back then, that's always been my heart of hearts. So, you know, Koji is Koji. I coined it, but it's a title. It's evolved into a title that if you're from the island, I mean, shoot, even if you're a Charlestonian, really, like, I mean, y'all come up with your own stuff, and you have your own stuff. I know that, but if uh, if you ever wondered, it's a title that could be worn by any and everyone with the blood from the bloodlines that's doing their thing. You from here, you out in the world, you achieving, you doing your thing, you taking care of your family, your responsibility, you a king of John's Island. That's what you represent, you know? So yeah, there's no need to think like, oh, I wonder who he think he is and all of that. I mean, if you want to know, you can ask me. We can have a conversation, but it's not really like a I am and no one else is thing. Heck, I wasn't even raised on the island fully. My my family has a presence on this island, and immediately upon birth, almost immediately, 2 years old, I guess, I started my journey, my tour around the world. And this would always be like we did school, but school was always just get through the school year and let's get back to granny house. Let's get back to the island. Like that's all I ever wanted. This is the only place I've ever really wanted to be, you know? So I might talk a little differently, or sometimes it may not sound like a natural accent. And it's not I'm not trying to sound like anything. It's just you gotta understand. I've had time out west, time up north, and time here. So you know, I have a bunch of different dialects and accents that just pop out from time to time. But that's cool. That's what makes me me. So I'm just saying that to say, like, it's not to be disrespectful. It's to be respectful in the ultimate. I look at myself as, and I always have looked at my people with the utmost, whether it was reciprocated or not. I don't really even know. I don't really care, but I do. But don't take that the wrong way. Um, yeah, Kings of John's Island, coined by a K.O.J.I. That's the best way to look at it. Um, yeah, I think I pretty much covered it. That's the origins of my name. We had RNC, Street Dreamer, Drop the Dreamer, Drop to Dreamer, and Dreamer Koji, and then just Koji. So, you know, different eras of people know you by different things. So I still have a whole sector of people who just call me Dreamer. I have a whole sector of people who only know me as Koji. I have a whole sector of people who know my real name and how they chopped it up. So it's all good either way. I'm cool with it, you know. It's a part of the journey. I feel like I want to keep talking, but I've already covered the topic, man. So um I don't know if I'm gonna be able to maintain the no editing thing, but in the name of that, I'm just gonna end the video. Um what y'all think about the acronym, the claim? Do you understand how it could be a benefit, like a positive thing? You know, because I think a lot of our disconnect is linked in, rooted in an identity crisis. You know, the things we call ourselves, the titles we accept. So if we change the script and adapt, even if it's not this one, but really readapt a name that we choose that empowers us, then it could start to the ripple effect of us keeping this bloodline together, essentially. So yeah, y'all let me know what you think.
Is the only way I know, wouldn't trade it for no retirement plans or pensions. The way I chose, no shade, no. Rather in old school than a car note.